Summer's here. The new Little Mermaid movie just came out. 2006 television masterpiece H2O Just Add Water is free to stream on YouTube. The time has come to dive into the mermaidcore aesthetic and the current trend towards mermaid-adjacent, mermaid-inspired fashion. Something about the mermaidcore aesthetic trend has really captured my fancy in the past couple months. I'm usually not particularly captivated by niche aesthetic cores in fashion, but I don't know, this one really appeals to me and I am clearly not alone in that. So today I'm excited to just sort of break down this style, go through the elements that come together to create a mermaidcore look, and then also get into some analysis on why it's so popular right now, why so many of us find it appealing, and what it says about, you know, where we're at right now as a society. So let's just dive in. Sorry, I promise I'm not gonna say that again. To start, what is mermaidcore? As you might assume by the name, it is a visual aesthetic that generally aligns with popular contemporary conceptions of mermaids, at least in Western culture and media. I know mermaids are part of folklore in tons of different cultures all around the world, but I am really only familiar with depictions that are popular in the West, and it seems that this aesthetic is also largely rooted in Western depictions of mermaids. Although if any of you see influences in this style that seem to be coming from elsewhere, other cultural depictions of mermaids that I am just not tuned into, I would absolutely love to hear about them in the comments. As far as where mermaidcore comes from, the term itself doesn't seem to have a clear specific originator or origin point. I would guess that in the habit of adding core to the end of everything to describe different visual aesthetics, a bunch of different people probably just all started using it to describe a sort of mermaid-inspired look simultaneously on social media, and then it just grew from there. So I am basing my definition and descriptions on my own research, aka what I observe in the Pinterest and TikTok search results for mermaidcore aesthetic. I also thought I should mention I have seen the term sirencore also floating around, which we're not really going to be getting into today as its own distinct thing, but it basically seems like not quite identical but very similar. My impression is that it's basically mermaidcore's sexy goth twin. Despite the nebulous origins of the phrase mermaidcore, the aesthetic itself is very straightforward. Literal ocean motifs like starfish, seashells, and pearls are the biggest, most clear-cut staples. Metallics, sequins, beading, and really anything else that sparkles like the ocean surface or a mermaid's tail is also a go-to. Woven, transparent materials reminiscent of a fishing net are also pretty common, like netting, open stitch crochet, fringe, or lace. Kind of like what I'm wearing right now. It's almost like I chose this look on purpose. And very fine transparent fabrics like organza and mesh are also seen frequently. Water is transparent, after all, so sheer fabric makes sense. Pale, slightly warmer toned neutrals and light shades of blue are the dominant colors by far, reminiscent of a sandy beach landscape, while other colors found in a beachy environment like pearlescent pink and purple, sea green, and even warmer, brighter hues like those of tropical flowers are also used. Most outfits consist of a flowy skirt and a bare midriff to, of course, evoke the silhouette of a tail and the bare torso blending into it. And if the top is longer, it's probably going to be fitted. In general, mermaids are usually depicted in very simple, low coverage tops, if they're wearing a top at all, so that is generally reflected in this style. I have found that the main area of variation and creativity seems to actually be sleeves, which appear in many different forms, be it sleeveless or strapless, fitted sleeves to maintain the sleek silhouette, flowy sleeves to evoke seaweed or tentacles, or puff sleeves, which bring in more of the fairy tale princess vibe that is also popularly associated with mermaids. For the bottom half, as I mentioned, flowy skirts are the most common. I don't think I've ever seen a mermaidcore look with pants, which makes sense. Mermaids famously do not have legs. But I have seen variation in shorter or longer skirts and more fitted or more flowy skirts. Finally, flowy or ruffly shapes are also commonly seen in bottoms and tops in this style, sort of bearing resemblance to a mermaid's tail, a sea creature, or the ocean water itself. The styling for these looks is often a mix of the more simple minimal clothing we just described, with more layered maximalist jewelry and some sorts of accessories, whether the jewelry is extra on theme, being made of shells or pearls, or if it just looks like any piece a mermaid might have stashed away from a sunken shipwreck. I've also really only discussed this so far as a fashion aesthetic, but this label is also definitely popularly used in makeup as well, often in conjunction with mermaidcore outfits. And the makeup look tends to consist of shiny or glittery products in pearlescent shades, sometimes including pearls or sparkles or gems adhered to the face for a magical underwater look. Similarly, pearls, seashells, or starfish are also used as hair accessories to enhance the theme even more. One thing I really enjoy about the styling of this aesthetic is because it's so specific and niche, you can just bring in a couple subtle elements for some fun inspiration without it reading as like a mermaid themed outfit. But also, if you do style it from head to toe, again, because it's so specific, it creates a really distinct, full-on sort of mermaid themed look. And I can appreciate both subtlety and a theme. I like that this aesthetic can do both. There's a wide range of ways to play with it within your own style. Alright, now that we have broken down the style into its distinct elements, we know exactly what it is. It's time for some real-life application with styling some outfits. First up, I tried to go for like simple yet quintessential mermaidcore vibes, if there is such a thing. We're going for a casual beachy mermaid look here. So we've got the fitted pale blue midi skirt, of course, with a white lace bralette on top, and honestly I think this is already a pretty spot on base, but then I added this sheer lace top over it for that transparent layer and woven texture. I also have a woven straw bag to bring in that sandy color and a natural texture that kind of evokes like beach grass. Mermaids also famously do not have feet, but I thought my white platform sandals blended with the light beachy vibe perfectly, and then of course the look is completed with jewelry, including these sea green stone earrings, an assortment of rings, a natural beaded bracelet, and a crystal necklace. Next up, I wanted to go for more of an ethereal deep sea mermaid look. Maybe I'm hiding out in like a pirate shipwreck in the dregs of the sea or something. So we of course have my netted top in a nice seaweed green color, and on the bottom, my best approximation of those ruffly tiered skirts with 2 white slips layered together. I tried, y'all. I did my best. I also added my silver chain belt to define the waist and add to that like mystical deep sea treasure chest vibe, plus of course more rings and my chunky charm necklace. I topped off this more eclectic look with some grounded brown fisherman sandals, and overall I do think I kind of look like a mermaid who got caught in a fisherman's net but then escaped and has been a subject of folktales in that small fishing village ever since. Alright, this next look may be taking a little more creative liberty, but I simply couldn't make this video and not include my fish dress, which I made myself in this video. To give this fish dress a more mermaid-esque flair, I first layered my white lace slip on top for that sheer layer and feminine fabric, and then layered a pink silk scarf around my waist to add some definition and play off the pink tones in the dress. I also added my pink ruffle tote bag that I made in this video, and that I think does look sort of like a living sea creature, and of course topped it off with some rings and some pink gem and pearl bead earrings. For shoes, I went with my nude mules for a more polished way to emulate a barefoot look. I did also want to try a short skirt look in this video, but the only one I had that would work was this sheer white slip, so I just layered that over some white shorts for a skirt look that also has a sheer element. Then on top, I went with this baby blue tank top I recently thrift flipped, and because these clothes are so minimal, I maximized the accessories with the chain belt, 2 brooches, and an earring used as a brooch pinned to my shirt, and a coin medallion necklace. I also had my rings and some small blue stone earrings to match the top, and that was the completed look. This feels very true to the 2000s influences. It's giving very much glam Y2K mermaid, and despite that not really being my everyday style, I really love this one. Finally, I did also want to dip my toe into the siren side of this aesthetic, plus this liquidy gold tank top and black ruched midi skirt were too perfect for this style not to use, so I just paired them with some sort of liquid looking metal and pearl earrings, my chain belt again, and some little black kitten heels to complete the dark and sultry take on a mermaid-esque look. Alright, now it is finally time to dig into the analysis, the critique, the theories. First off, what caused the rise in popularity of this aesthetic? Right off the bat, of course, we have to mention the live-action adaptation of The Little Mermaid starring Halle Bailey that just came out. Do I think one movie created this whole trend? No. But it certainly has to do with it. We know media, especially very hyped media, has a huge impact on fashion trends. The way Euphoria absolutely rocked the world of makeup in the past couple years comes to mind as another example. We are also, of course, in a moment of very powerful 2000s nostalgia right now, and mermaids were also very popular in the 2000s for children. There was the movie Aquamarine, the TV show H2O. Pirates of the Caribbean had mermaids in it. There were books about mermaids. Personally, I was an Emily Emily Windsnap stan. Other Emily Windsnap readers, sound off in the comments. I freaking loved those books. There were Barbie mermaid movies. There were actual Barbie mermaid dolls. I distinctly remember having a mermaid Kelly doll whose hair turned pink when you got it wet. One of my favorite childhood toys. So yeah, mermaids were absolutely everywhere. Isn't it funny how different mythical creatures become like trendy in different eras? Mermaids were big in the 2000s. Vampires were like the end-all be-all of the 2010s. If anyone watching knows children and knows what the current trending fantasy creatures are for them, please comment. I am so curious. I also think for a lot of people, the appeal of 2000s fashion, and specifically mermaid-inspired fashion, isn't just based in the general vibes of the 2000s, but specifically in their own personal childhood nostalgia for that time. Like, everyone in their 20s now was a child in the 2000s. All that mermaid media was targeted directly to us. A lot of us also saw the 1989 Little Mermaid movie as kids, even though that came out a little earlier. I feel like I see people online constantly referencing the memory of like playing mermaids at the pool or at the beach as a kid, and like having to decide what color your tail was gonna be, and it couldn't be the same color as your friend who you were playing mermaids with. They had to have a different tail color. So yeah, I think this trend really speaks to people's nostalgia for childhood in general and the fantasy that we get to enjoy during that time in our lives. It does seem like the worse the world is, the more we turn to childhood or fantasy inspiration in fashion as escapism. We've seen a ton of that since 2020 with things like cottagecore, royalcore, fairy grunge, etc. So this aesthetic feels like it fits right in as the next evolution in trends centering on fairy tale fantasy. I also wonder if part of the reason for this specific iteration of fantasy-inspired fashion is happening at this particular time because it feels like vacation is finally back in full swing after the onset of COVID-19. So, you know, vacations, they often involve beaches, oceans, tropical environments, etc. I don't really know if that theory has legs to stand on, so to speak, but just occurred to me. I also want to mention that, like, obviously runways and designer fashion also plays a huge role in trends in general. I've seen tons of ocean and beachy and mermaid adjacent fashion on runways and on celebrities on red carpets and stuff recently. All right, next, I really want to talk about the meaning that I find in this aesthetic, what values it represents and what impact it might have culturally. As far as values go, a lot of niche aesthetic trends that are more linked to real life cultures or ideals like dark academia or balletcore, for example, have more values attached to them because they're linked to real life things that also have values, like academia or ballet. But in this case, because it's based on complete fantasy, there don't really seem to be any strong defining ideals or even lifestyle choices associated with this aesthetic at all. It's really just for the vibes. And honestly, I kind of appreciate the simplicity of that. There's not really any complex cultural baggage you have to worry about. If anything, I think this just speaks to, like I said, our current enjoyment of fantasy, escapism, and childhood nostalgia. The higher visibility of the idea of healing your inner child definitely also plays into this. I think that relates to childhood nostalgia in general in style and fashion, and it also might play a role in young adults being drawn to this style, or even feeling like it's acceptable for them to draw inspiration from something. The cat is meowing. What if Comet was a mermaid? What would that be like? I wonder. What if you were a mermaid? Or even feeling like it's acceptable to draw fashion inspiration from something largely associated with childhood, like mermaids. I think this interest in childhood and sort of healing and unlearning what we went through as children also plays into this trend and many current trends' embrace of girliness and femininity. I feel like the 2000s had a very strong girly equals bad culture, and then the 2010s had a very strong not like other girls culture. And I think now, as people who were children and teenagers in those eras like myself grow up, we're unlearning and we're shifting into a moment of appreciating the girly, not in a way that's about like enforcing gender norms, but more so not shaming girls for stuff they like and understanding the value of girly things. So I guess that is one set of values I would associate with this trend. I have also observed one other set of values associated with mermaids, and while they don't hold this connotation so much now, historically mermaids were less of an innocent motif of childhood and more of an adult folk figure, much more synonymous with sirens, with more of a sinister, seductress connotation. Basically, people thought they were like creatures that used their desirability to lure men to their watery deaths. And while I don't think that's the primary association people have with mermaids now, it's still present, and I do think some people are using this trend, or more specifically, it's like sub-aesthetic or sister aesthetic of sirencore, to express their sexuality and sort of reclaim sirens as a symbol of empowerment through femininity and female sexuality. This is obviously in contrast to the more innocent childhood connotations with mermaids. In this particular aesthetic, I don't really see people muddling the two together, thankfully. It seems like it's either mermaid vibes just for fun, playful nostalgia, or sexy, powerful Greek mythology type siren who can ruin your life kind of vibes. And it's interesting to see both play out simultaneously. Another element of this aesthetic that I wanted to touch on is its degree of diversity and inclusivity. While searching for images in this aesthetic on like Pinterest and TikTok, I immediately saw way more diversity of race and skin tone than I ever do in a surface level search for an aesthetic, a clothing trend, really anything on Pinterest. I don't know if that's just my Pinterest algorithm. I'd be curious to hear other people's experiences with this one, but I have definitely seen way more women of color, and especially Black women, being celebrated and included in this aesthetic than in many others. I would posit that this relates pretty directly to the new Little Mermaid movie with Halle Bailey, although if there are other factors that you think might be playing into this, if there's other media or cultural context that I'm missing and I'm giving way too much credit to just like one movie, please tell me in the comments. I would love to hear. But I will just say, from my own limited perspective, it is pretty cool to see how impactful a piece of media can be and how an instance of celebrated mainstream representation can affect a lot of people's mental concept of a certain topic, in this case, mermaids. Obviously, mermaids, not the most real-world relevant example of representation. Like, inclusivity in this aesthetic is a good thing, but ultimately it's not going to do that much to improve the lives of marginalized people. But I just think it's a cool example of how what is depicted in media can directly impact what we in our brains conceive of as possible. Unfortunately, on the flip side of that, as you probably noticed, almost every body shown in this video was very thin. And like, I make a very purposeful, concerted effort to find diverse reference photos for my videos. They're not super readily accessible for fashion imagery of any kind, which sucks. But normally when I really hunt for them, I'm able to find some. But in this case, even when I was really specifically looking, I still found virtually nothing. This also really ties into the 2000s nostalgia for mermaids, because what else was extremely popular in the 2000s? Rampant fat phobia. Correct. And if all our cultural references for this style are things we saw in the 2000s, like H2O and Aquamarine, or the even earlier 1989 Little Mermaid, which many of us still saw at that time, then that really easily becomes the default for this style. But, like we're seeing with the new Little Mermaid, contemporary media can serve as an updated touchstone. And it's very cool to imagine the impact it might have if we got a plus-size mermaid protagonist. And again, obviously, it's not really about mermaids or being included in this niche mermaidcore aesthetic. It's about the impact of nuanced, respectful, celebratory representation in general, and how that can broaden mainstream perspectives. All right, y'all. Those are all my thoughts about the mermaidcore aesthetic and its cultural context and impact. I would love to hear your thoughts on all this in the comments. You all are smart, and I'm sure you have thoughts and perspectives to add that I didn't even think of, so please share. And I heard if you do leave a comment, watch another video such as this one right here that the algorithm thinks you would enjoy, and subscribe to my humble channel, you will gain the ability that you always dreamed of as a child to turn into a mermaid when your body is submerged in water. God, I wanted that so bad as like a 9-year-old. That is my dream. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.